Hey everyone, this is Vincent Elwood, and I'm here to talk to you today about a surprising indie title called Vampire Survivors, an inaugural Vania Mania top-down reverse bullet hell roguelike from Ponkel, now available on Steam for $3 US. This game is one giant love letter to the Konami Castlevania series. It has monsters, buff guys with whips, power-ups, font styles, hell, they even have NFTs. Wait.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Naturally, when I saw this title pop up, I just had to pick it up. I mean, I'm a bit of a Castlevania fan, from the art style to the characters, music, setting, fan games, other fan games. Look, I just had to pick this game up and give it a try. So I sold some Steam cards,
I'm broke, okay?
and sneezed just long enough for the download to finish. 3 hours later, and I still have fun starting up a new run, getting that dopamine rush as box after box drops and my power scales to godhood levels. Armies of creatures of the night flailing against me in desperate, feeble attempts to score nary a glancing blow upon my visage, all while I laugh maniacally as I am become death, destroyer of worlds! Sorry, I got a bit carried away there. But let's go over the basic premise real quick. There are currently 8 characters to choose from, and one hidden character that you unlock fairly quickly as they're pretty affordable. 2 stages for your mad rampage, and 40 different items to acquire over the course of your run. You start off with a basic weapon and slow-moving enemies, picking them off one or two at a time and collecting gems. Once you get enough gems, you get 3 options of items to pick from. You have to think carefully though, because while there's 40 different items to pick up, you're only allowed 6 active and 6 passive items in your inventory. Once you fill up those slots, it's all upgrades from there. You don't get a chance to replace items. So, do you want to build vertical and play into your playstyle for direct damage? Or do you take what is given and play wide, filling out your arsenal and hoping it's enough to carry you through to endgame? Knives and axes for more direct enemy damage, or magic wands and whips to focus more on area attacks? The choice is yours, and honestly, there's no one way to do it, except maybe the King's Bible and the garlic. As you can tell, I like my personal space. To make things more complex, certain items also allow other items to evolve once maxed out. For example, getting the active item garlic and the passive item pomarola allows you to evolve the garlic at max level into the Soul Eater. This not only increases the range and the damage of the garlic's AoE, but it takes hearts from enemies that heal you, and it gets stronger if you get hurt. Want a machine gun? Pick up the knife item with the passive bracers items, and late game evolve it into Thousand Cuts, the Destroyer of Evil. It's also worth mentioning that there are torches and candelabras that drop items as well. Sometimes gold coins, the game's roguelite aspect where you can give passive buffs between games, the obligatory meat that's been there way too long to be good, and sometimes a watch that freezes enemies. And hey, there's that NFT I mentioned, the Judah Frida Tonto. Put the pitchforks down, please, it's just a joke item. However, it does set you on fire and then proceed to burn every enemy around you, all of the spicy meal from the Smash Brothers games. This doesn't even get into the absolute rush of finding a loot chest. Bosses spawn occasionally, and you should always try to corral them into the front of the pack. There's nothing quite like the excitement of seeing gold and treasures fly everywhere while the roulette wheel determines what you're getting from the RNG gods. But the opposite is also true. If a chest drops and you have to abandon it to stay alive, that hurts. Hard. By late game, your build is pretty set up, and then it just boils down to seeing how long you can go. I know there are builds that keep the game going almost indefinitely, but I have yet to unlock all of the evolved items. Part of the fun is the experimentation, finding out what's needed, what passives are required to evolve what actives. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend looking up a guide for this game. It's more fun and encourages an alternate playstyle experimenting just on the discovery aspect alone. The trick is you have to max out the upgrades on your active item before it can evolve, so the replayability is there while you try to get that item to max level. Then see if any passives will allow you to lock an evolved form of that item. Thankfully, the game has a collections list where you can see items once you have them unlocked. That way you can write up a build and test it in a run. All in all, Vampire Survivors is a time killer that hits a perfect mix of dopamine loot box rushes, crazy, wild abilities that make you feel godlike, and an aesthetic that honestly hits that nostalgia spot like a stake through the heart. Metaphorically speaking, of course. If you have just a couple bucks to throw around, or maybe you've got a few Steam cards to sell, you really couldn't go wrong with picking this game up. I've already put in hours into it, and honestly, it's probably the least expensive game that I've purchased for my time, and that's saying something. Anyway, this has been Vincent Elwin, and I will see each and every one of you in the next video.